الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله على المولى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. رجوعا إلى السيرة. In our Sirah series we covered the Nisab because this is the month of, or we've started this during the month of Rabi' al-Awwal, and we stopped because we traveled for Umrah, Walillah alhamd. In our previous courses or lectures or classes, if we can call it as such, we covered the Nisab of Sayyidina Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his lineage, his grandparents from both his father's side and his mother's side. We went up to Sayyidina Adnan, and through Sayyidina Ismail and Ibrahim, and then Sayyidina Nuh, and his lineage goes up to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. We also covered the Tariq, the time, how do you call it? The Tariq of his birth, when and where he was born. When we said there were 12 different opinions, but the most famous version and the most correct one is that he was born on the 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal. When it comes to the place of his birth, 4 places were mentioned. We also covered many of the irhasat, the miracles before, during and after his birth alayhi salatu wasalam. Among the miracles is the talbiyah of the nur of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the sulb of one of his great-grandparents, Ilyas. وفي صلب لإلياس يلبي ويسمعه المواسم بالأذنه. And among those miracles is what Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala made appear at the hands of his grandfather Abdul Muttalib when he was digging the well of Zamzam because of the wisdom, the vision he had. And when Quraysh wanted to fight for that, they went to see a kahina to tell them what to do. And in the middle of nowhere, at extreme thirst, they were all waiting for death. Water appeared under the feet of Abdul Muttalib. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala granted him what he wanted, and he had another to slaughter or sacrifice one of his children. If he has 10 children who would stand up for him whenever he is angry, because that time he only had one child, and that was Al-Harith. And that one that is to be sacrificed is the one who is supposed to be the father of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you know the story. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala gave a solution. So Abdullah wasn't sacrificed. That's why the Prophet ﷺ is Ibn al-Dhabihain. He's the son of the 2 great people who were supposed to be sacrificed for the sake of Allah. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala saved them. The first one is Sayyidina Ismail, and the second is his father Abdullah. And during the Hamla of Sayyidatuna Amina, Hamla Habib Sayyidina Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, during the pregnancy, many are the miracles Sayyidina Amina saw. It is said that during the 9 months of the Hamla, of the pregnancy, these great prophets visited her to give her glad tidings. Sayyidina Adam, Sayyidina Shis, the son of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, Sayyidina Idris, Sayyidina Nuh, Sayyidina Hud, Sayyidina Ibrahim, Sayyidina Musa, and Sayyidina Isa. Each one for each month. And when she was about to deliver, she also saw so many miracles. And I told you that after 6 months of pregnancy, she had a vision, someone telling her, when you give birth, Sammihi Muhammadan sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Name him Muhammad, and ask Allah Ta'ala to protect him. And it is said that Sayyidatuna Asiya, the wife of Fir'aun, and Sayyidatuna Maryam and some of Hurul Ain assisted her during the delivery time. One of them gave her water and she drank, and the other one said, drink more. And they presented themselves before her and told her who they were. And many are the miracles which occurred. It is said that no king slept on his bed the night the Prophet ﷺ was born, and the night of the Haml alayhi salatu wasalam. And then when he was born, the Iwan, the palace of Kisra, was like it was attacked. Like one of the people said, Iwanu Kisra, قد علاك محمد وليدا فماذا إن أتاك كبيرا. 14 pieces out of the palace fell. And Abdul Masih went to see one of the great visionaries, Satih, and Satih told him that you have 14 kings remaining. And that's how it happened. The miracle of the water and the fire which was extinguished because the Prophet ﷺ was born. وَسَاءَ سَاوَةَ أَنْ غَادَتْ بُحَيْرَتُهَا وَرُدَّ وَارِدُهَا بِالْغَيْظِ حِينَ ضَمِي, as Imam al-Busiri rahmatullah alayhi said. We also covered the wet nurses, or those who breastfed the Prophet ﷺ. And we said there were 8. When I say those who breastfed the Prophet ﷺ and not the wet nurses, because when you say the wet nurses, you will exclude his mother. If you say Murdi'at wa Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the mother was the first. And those who are his brothers and sisters in breastfeeding, they were how many? 7, mashallah. So there were 7. And we also talked about the irhas, or the mu'jizatu shaqq sadr, when he was with Halima. And we also covered the fact that his father died before he was born, and his mother would die when he is what age? 6. And his grandfather died at what age? When he was 8. عام الثماني وفاة الجد ذا هنم وحاتم وأنو شروان ذي الكرم, as Shaykh al-Hajj Mali rahmatullah alayhi said. And it is said that when he was 7, 1 year before his grandfather died, he had a ramat. What is ramat in English? How do you say ramat? Can you help me? Ramat. When you have like red eyes, how do you call it? The ramat, huh? When you have red eyes.
Red eyes.
Yeah. No, there's a name for it.
I know. Is it like
yes. So, pink eyes, red eyes, but there is a name for it. But don't worry about it. He has red eyes. And it is said that his grandfather took him to a man who was known to cure people. When he saw the Prophet ﷺ, he said, his dawa is with him. His cure is with him. Dawa'uhu riquhu. just take his saliva and put it on his eyes. He was at the age of 7. Alayhi salatu wasalam. At the age of 8, his grandfather passed. And he was now in the care of his uncle, his paternal uncle, Abdul Manaf. And Abdul Manaf traveled with him for the first time to Sham, yes, Busra. When they reach Busra is in Sham, mashallah, you got it. And traveled to Sham. So when they reached Busra, there was a rahib. There was a Christian monk by the name of what? What was his name? Bahira, mashallah. So Bahira saw the signs of the prophethood in him, and he told them to go back with him. This child isn't supposed to travel. He has to be protected. People will try to harm him, even though they cannot do anything against Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala as well. Alayhi salatu subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Imam al-Halabi rahmatullah alayhi said that he also traveled when he was 17. Where? He traveled with his 2 uncles. I mentioned it. His uncle Az-Zubayr ibn Abdul Muttalib and Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib. They traveled with him to Al-Yemen for commerce when he was 17. And then he witnessed what is known as Harbul Fijar. Harbul Fijar, but the 4th Harbul Fijar. Because Hurubul Fijar are 4. The 3 were there before, but he witnessed the 4th one. The first Harbul Fijar was between the tribe of Kinana and Hawazin. The second one was between his tribe, Quraysh, and Kinana. And the third one was between Kinana and Bani Nadr ibn Muawiyah. And the 4th one, which the Prophet ﷺ witnessed, was that which is between Quraysh and Kinana and Hawazin. So there is Kinana in every single one of them. So that he was, how old was he? 17 according to some, 21 according to some, 20 according to some, 15 according to some, 14 according to some. The Sirah people, they have khilaf in almost everything. Many scholars say he was 20, some say he was 21. 17 is when he traveled with Al-Abbas and Zubayr, not Zubayr ibn al-Awam, but Zubayr ibn Abdul Muttalib, because Zubayr ibn al-Awam is a grandchild of Abdul Muttalib. Because Zubayr ibn al-Awam, his mother is Safiya bint Abdul Muttalib, and his father is Al-Awam. Awam is a brother to who? Awam ibn Khuwaylid. No, Awam ibn Khuwaylid. Khadija bint Khuwaylid, yes. So, Zubayr is related to both the Prophet ﷺ and Khadija. And he would be the son-in-law of Abu Bakr, because he would marry later on to Asma bint Abu Bakr. And they would be the parents of Abdullah ibn Zubayr. Radiyallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala anil jami'. So, the Prophet ﷺ, he said he witnessed this. And right after this came what we know as Hilful Fudul, the pact of the righteous, or the pact of righteousness. What happened is a merchant from Yemen came to Mecca, and one of the nobilities or the noblemen of Quraysh took his merchandise, and he didn't want to pay him back. And that was Al-Asi bin Wa'il. And this Yemeni went to Safa and he yelled and he shouted and told people, what is this? I am this and this and this. And he complained. Then Zubair, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, is the one who came for his help. And he called the other tribes to do something about it. And the tribe Banu Hashim, meaning the sub-tribes of Quraysh, Banu Hashim and Tamim and Zahra, they answered and they met at the house of Abdullah ibn Jada'an. The Holy Prophet ﷺ used to say that this health, this alliance was so dear to him that if he was to be invited to a similar one, even after Islam, he would have answered. Hilful Fudul. And they said that from now on, no one is going to be allowed to wrong people in Mecca. And they went to As ibn Wa'il and took the merchandise of that poor merchant and returned it back to him. So that happened right after Harbul Hijar. And the Prophet ﷺ at that age, he is a man now. 1 or 2 or 3 years later, at the age of 24 to 25, he will be now busy doing business, with Sayyidatuna Khadija. And that's what we're going to, inshallah, talk about when we come back, because we don't want to hold you. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala grant us all success. The most beautiful life is the life of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala grant us his love and his ittiba' and husnul ittiba'i lahu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Hadha wa sallallahu ala mawlana Muhammad ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Amin. Barakallahu fikum wal afu minkum.